Welcome back, one and all. We are back with another round of playoffs in the King's Court Pokemon League. This is going to be a crucial match in Group A this time, than Group B, which we saw last time. Joining us today is my lovely co-host, Kyrogeniz. Say hello.
Hello, hello.
In this matchup is going to be featuring Vaughn coaching Moth Gang. Facing up against him is going to be Jamaarkques, leading off with his Pallet Town Mafia. So, leading off with this game, Earthworm going to be doing a nice little chunk to Quack as it gets to plus 4. Going to be very threatening, especially if there's no burn, which there's not. And now it's very threatening. Playing with fire a little, roosting up in front of this Alomomola. Gets punished by the burn, but does get all the way up to plus 6. So still going to be able to do some decent damage.
Surely it's just Petron coming in here now, right? Ooh, Zamazenta.
Maybe. Zamazenta comes out, has that plus 1, is going to be faster than this Quackleval, but could potentially also not do enough to kill, depending on how bulky this Quackleval is. So,
I'm pretty confident a Brave Bird kills here.
If he is packing that Brave Bird, I think it does.
Even with the burn, that should be just enough damage, if not a favorable roll, right? Like, this is a risky switch in Jamaarkques' part. This is one of the strongest mons just thrown out in the field.
You absolutely want to be keeping this Zamazenta around. It's definitely one of the main holes.
Ooh.
Oh, super effective Psychic Fangs holds on, but Wave Crash takes out Zamazenta in one hit, and that's a pivotal mon on the side of Jamaarkques down within 5 turns. I think you're very happy to take that trade if you're Vaughn.
Oh, absolutely. That thing is the biggest wall to your whole team. Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Even if he didn't kill it, that would have been a worthwhile trade, because that's exhausted and basically dead. But
yeah.
Getting the kill is even better.
Here comes Earthworm, staring down the Salazzle. Probably going to scare it off. We did see Earthquake revealed earlier, so going to be respected by Vaughn as the Earthquake comes out. And now Mandibuzz going to stop any Stealth Rock shenanigans from going on and keep up momentum. Getting off a nice little knockoff, but weakness policy is activated.
What the heck?
Wow! Suddenly this, like, usually pretty weak mon of Petron is looking very threatening. Malignant Chain doing 76 and getting the confusion.
The triple.
Mandibuzz gets the knockoff. Shadow Ball comes out, gets a nice little bit of damage on the way down, but still not the fastest mon in the world, so Florges could potentially take it out here.
Could be a Terra Steel Florges coming out here.
Yeah. Terra of some kind. Yeah, I believe its other option is Terra Ground. A Psychic Noise comes out. That is a lot of damage for a Florges.
Is this thing choice specs? That was insane.
It might be. I mean, if it's not the crit, definitely mattered. But
right.
I mean, frankly, I don't even think it kills with a crit if it's not like specs, or at the very least, very offensive.
Right, that was incredibly powerful for one that is typically known for just wish passing, right? Like that was quite powerful.
Going on the offensive. Terra will be the switch in. Florges probably not going to be able to take it out in one hit, so it could potentially get off a Shell Smash. An Iron Head comes out, but Florges walks it off.
Opting away from that Shell Smash. Maybe he didn't bring it this week?
Maybe not. He does have a Kyurem he can go to, but I mean, it still could potentially be that Shell Smash.
I feel like you just keep hitting Florges here, take what you can get.
Probably.
Make sure it's in that Ice Shard range, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty risky to switch into this if you are Vaughn, but I mean, you could still get the Shell Smash off.
Yes.
Potentially, if you do have it. This is a pretty pivotal turn.
Because you can always call the Gambit if he's going to Shell Smash, you get a Wish off, you protect, and then you can Terra to maybe survive a hit that's not a Headlong Rush, unless you're Terra Water. I can't remember Terra types in this mon. But still, this is a very dangerous mon he's staring down with just a little Flower guy. Flower Gal, excuse me.
Shell Smash could be very risky, especially with 0 priority and not a lot of speed left on the side of Vaughn. Nothing's going to be able to outspeed that Torterra at +2. So, could be fairly risky. It could be, you know, potentially Scarf or something unconventional on the Kyurem. But Gonna have to be something like that if the Shell Smash does successfully go off.
I am checking. Yeah, only a Scarf to give it outspeed. Which is not ideal, but it's certainly a possibility.
Definitely not where you want to be. I mean, Florges at the very least can get it fairly low. I feel like Psychic Noise there does confirm that it is choice specs. You almost certainly just go straight for the Moonblast. The Terra's into a Fire Blast, Fire type. Woodhammer comes out, deals a nice little chunk, but no Shell Smash, so not going to be able to outspeed this Treads if it is a fast Treads.
And now that it revealed the Terra, it is much more vulnerable to an Earthquake. Though Earthworm could just eat it up, it's forced out regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not
but Jamaarkques
opting.
calls it out and just goes for the headlong as the
Absolutely
Stealth Rocks
deletes
come
him.
out. Yeah. Florges does come out. Going to be able to threaten it out, especially with that Spadef drop. So, going to be doing a lot of damage here. Does still have a fairly
Ooh,
healthy
that's
Scissor
definitely specs
regardless.
damage.
Yeah, but that almost certainly confirms
Oh
specs
my
as
goodness.
Defog comes out from the Scissor. But Salazzle should be able to scare this out. In comes the Toxic, and I mean, Torterra will still be able to get a few attacks off. He's not going to be able to fully protect, unless it's also sub-protect.
Sub-Protect is very likely on a Toxic Salazzle set, especially since you didn't threaten the Earthworm when it came in with the Flamethrower. So I believe this manga just saw out its death, but he's going to switch out to Kyurem.
Here comes Kyurem on a headlong. Going to be able to eat it up fairly well, only dealing 42. And now Kyurem is a very threatening Pokemon once it's let in. You know,
Good old Dragon Dance here could just end the game.
yeah,
But
Earth
Earth
Power
Power
comes out. In comes Scizor. This Bullet Punch is going to be threatening a very large chunk onto this Kyurem. Lazzle can come in though.
And
Again,
eat it up.
eats it up. And now could potentially be that Flamethrower. You haven't seen every move on this thing, so Mola comes out, gets
Another
Toxic,
Toxic.
and
Good
that's
read by
yeah. It's gonna be a hard timer on this Mola. If he's able to weather the storm and kill the other switch-ins, this Mola will lose in the end game because of it. So
Kyurem comes back out. Probably on the flip turn. Yep. Scissor's gonna
comes
come back
Scissor.
out. Another Bullet Punch potentially.
yeah, I mean the problem with Scizor is that it really doesn't threaten the Salazzle, but you do need it to stay around, just because it's the only thing that can really take care of this Kyurem, especially if there's damage on Earthworm.
Absolutely.
Or just comes
Florges.
out.
Ooh.
Great double by Vaughn there. Gets the
It
matchup
was.
he wants, and now he's going to be able to force damage
Ooh.
on something, including this Alomomola. Giga Drain puts Florges back to full, and it's going to be very chunked when it comes back in, even with that Regenerator.
And
Great
it's still sitting
turn
on
by
a Terra
Vaughn.
type.
Yeah, the
It could
Terra
work
is
as both
still
for breakfast.
available. Goes into the Salazzle, plays it safe. U-turn not going to be doing much. I mean, the Salazzle is on a timer, and the problem with Salazzle is that it does give Mola a chance to heal back up. Can just go for the flip turn right here, come back in at a nice little 60.
Ooh, the taunt!
Oh, but Taunt comes out. Just going to be flip turned out on, though, and now Salazzle really only has a few switch-ins left. And again, that Alomomola is going to be able to heal up, especially with that Scizor and Earthworm coming in to threaten it out. Could be very
this-
hard to break through.
And so it has to be sick on a Flamethrower here, which it is.
Flamethrower?
But the Occa Berry.
Does some nice damage, but Occa Berry is going to mean it's going to be able to shrug it off. And now Earthworm's looking very hard to kill. Between this Kyurem and Florges, nothing's really going to be able to do much damage to it.
Draco drops, not even close.
Body Press does not take
Doesn't-
Kyurem out, but it's just going to be very hard to take him out. Second Draco does not kill, and that is going to spell the end of Kyurem. Just
Aw,
kidding, it's going to be the
Oh.
spikes.
Draco miss.
And he's just
Oh my
getting
God,
all the
another
hazards off. Just for good measure.
Oh my goodness, Florges cannot live.
Scizor gonna come back out. And it's gonna have to be... I mean, Terra is
What's-
still available, but
What's this fourth move?
I
That's the real question.
can't imagine it's anything that hits Scizor particularly hard.
Certainly.
It's gonna have to take it out in one hit here if it wants to survive.
Which is a lot to ask for from a Florges.
That is a lot to
Really
ask.
honest.
Yeah, even if it is choice specs,
Ooh,
you know,
it could
Scizor
be a
is pretty
Terra ground
bulky.
Terra Blast though.
Yeah, that may be able to kill Scizor from this range. It is neutral, but it's just a strong move regardless. And it also does neutral to Mola, so it could potentially be the avenue to victory for Vaughn here.
Oh, it does look like it kills. If it is in fact the choice specs max special attack, it would kill.
Wow.
I guess we'll see.
He's been holding on to this Terra type for the whole game. This could be the pivotal moment in the end
There
game.
it is.
Goes
There
for it, and it does kill. Here comes a Lomomola, and I don't think it's gonna be able to kill a Scald. And with that Toxic coming down, it's gonna be taking a lot of damage. Terra Blast takes it out in one kill, and that's going to be Florges sweeping the end game. Game 1 going to Vaughn and Moth Gang. Very well maneuvered there. Played to his win cons and got it out there in the end. So very well played to Vaughn.
It was extremely well played on his behalf. Holding on to that floor just at the very last minute. The ace in the hole to clean up the whole team. Beautiful. Beautiful execution.
Yeah, very well played. Curious to see what Jamaarkques going to adjust going into the next game. I mean, you never really know with this guy. That's the thing. This is the only guy in the league who constantly surprises me with his adjustments every series.
I mean, we just saw a weakness Poly Pet.
Yeah, in game he already had some crazy sets game 1, so gonna be very interesting to see, but very, very good start to this series. That is going to be game 1 going to Vaughn. We're going to pause it right here and be right back when this series continues with game 2. We are once again back. This is game 2. Same leads as last time, so let's see if it plays out in a similar fashion. No Pokemon adjustments from Jamaarkques, but of course you never really know what's happening with the sets. Swordsdance coming out, immediately swapped into by Treads. Gotta respect that Petron. Very physically bulky Mon. So.
Oh, clear amulet.
Wow.
Very good adaptation. We didn't even get to see that because our Tread just got sacked, but that's a really good item into Petron. It kind of makes it invalid.
Fantastic item. Especially because it always switches into Treads. Oh, but the critical hit takes it out in one shot. That is going to be rough, but it is going to be able to be revenged here. Not the fastest Mon in the world, so.
No, certainly not. But taking an Iron Treads does kind of suck. That was a better sack later.
Yeah, you definitely want to see that sticking around. It's also like a pretty big deal into this Terra Fire on Torterra.
Absolutely.
So, hey.
But you know what? At least you got them fangs up this time.
Yeah, rough start, but it could be worse.
It could. It could. I am curious to see what's going to happen with the Scizor. As kind of touched on, the defog was a bit strange. I'm not sure if he's bringing it back. Maybe he finally decided to ban it. But in that case, he'd be hazard removalist rather, which would be quite problematic. Now that the rocks actually are up.
Yeah, get him up very early. This is going to be not a toxic, but a lot of damage as the burn comes out into Mola.
Actually huge.
Flip turn, going to be doing a lot less here. If it is a potential subset that could mean the difference. Oh, it does 16. That means that it's not going to be able to break the sub on Salazzle, which is a pretty big deal.
It is a huge deal, honestly. Now Slazzle's going to set up for free. It can't toxic it anymore because of the burn, but...
Here comes Earthworm. Going to be able to threaten out with Earthquake, as we saw before.
Get them fangs up.
Yeah, rocks are up for both sides.
I don't think Mandibus wants to defog ever, because T-Spikes is more favorable.
Yeah.
That
Here comes Petron, able to eat those up. Depending on how fast either of these Pokemon are, I mean, honestly, either of these could be the faster Mon in 1v1.
True.
Mola
assuming no
comes
investment, I believe is Petron.
Eats the knockoff. That is going to be the end of this Rocky Helmet. You see pretty quickly though, but between these rocks and the burn on Mola, damage adds up pretty quickly. So, I mean, this is a Mon who normally sticks around forever. This damage could start to stack up.
Absolutely. Regenerator is great and all, but without the boots and taking the
Rocky Helmet. Dude, this Mon is coming in at 60-70%. As here comes Samazenta. Decides it's time to go.
See what he pulls out this time.
Yeah, good on Jamaarkques to clear out the toxic spikes first
Ooh,
as
agility.
agility comes out. Wow.
Okay. It did not Oko, so now it's
Toxic puts it as a timer.
But this is still a lot of damage. You're gonna get a lot done with this. This mon outspeeds everything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it already did, but now it's
really
just really going to make sure. Yeah, but it's going to take another round of Rocky Helmet and Toxic Chip. I mean, the end is very near for Zamazenta. It only has one turn left.
Yeah.
See what the sack for Vaughn is going to be. I mean, this still isn't a fantastic spot. Your team is a bit in shambles after all that.
That it is. This is just the raw power of Zamazenta coming in clutch here. This mon could just break through anything, no matter what's happening to it.
Yeah. Kyurem comes out. Could potentially eat an unboosted close combat. This is a very bulky mon.
I am not confident in that, truthfully. Unless he has bulk investment, I fear
Doubles
he is
out to
just
Salazzle. There it is. Salazzle is sacked. And that is going to spell the end of Zamazenta. But it takes down 2 mons on the way out. Petron comes out. Unless it's max speed, this Quavel is probably faster. And now it's threatening to get a boost off. With
Definitely Dragon Dance off that Aqua Tip.
Yeah.
Oh, it is faster. Oh my
gets the
goodness.
Toxic, gets the Confusion, but it does break through and get that knockoff.
Now Quackable is in though, which is not
Yeah,
ideal for Vaughn.
not a
He's already
fantastic
struggling.
trade. I think you're very happy to get this money, each hit points out of a mon that was pretty much on death's door.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Suddenly Torterra and Scizor are both looking fairly scary.
Bullet Punch here at sweep here.
Yeah. Bullet Punch looking insanely scary. See what the switch in is here. Does get the roost off, so Quackable lives another day. Coming in around 60.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, but oh, he comes big Torterra. Could potentially see a shell smash. We saw it last game as it breaks through again, gets a fat wave crash. Woodhammer comes out, gonna be putting Torterra very low in revenge range. Here comes Florges. We saw that it was Specs last game, but could be risky to lock into any one move here. Not really a fantastic spot.
Fortunately, it has.
Locks into Moonblast.
Either Florges is getting eaten up by the Scizor, or Kyurem's taking a free Bullet Punch, right?
Yeah,
Like, this is not ideal either
nothing
way.
wants to take Bullet Punch.
There it is.
Comes out, does 55, gonna be getting a clean 2-hit KO. And that just might be game 2 going over to the side of Jamaarkques.
Terra Ground, Terra Blast can't win out.
Here comes Terra Ground, but Bullet Punch still doing 50.
Moonblast.
Has to lock into Moonblast, and that is going to be the game. A nice little Bullet Punch sweep coming in from Jamaarkques. Bit of a faster game that time around, but we saw particularly Zamazenta going big that game, which is definitely the big difference maker.
Absolutely. That free turn is set up for agility, which unprecedented, but it really meant the difference.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for Vaughn, he is going to be making adjustments because he won that first game. So he's going to be having the advantage going into the final game of the series. But, I mean, the game plan seemed pretty cohesive on the side of Vaughn, so I'm not sure exactly what he'll change up, but it's going to be interesting to see nonetheless.
Certainly will. I feel like the Toxic is outliving its welcome, even though that mon is incredibly powerful. Either that or it needs to get rid of the T-Spikes and go for a full sub variant. That's just my initial synopsis.
I think sub could be potentially pretty good. We saw it, I mean, maybe put in some work that game. Problem is, an unburned Alomomola does break the sub, so unless you do get that burn again, which is a pretty low chance, it isn't fantastic. But hey, it could also be a potential Lumberry on that Quackable. Maybe some more speed invested. Who knows? We're just gonna have to wait and see as we wait for this player to make his adjustments going into Game 3. And we are once again back. This is going to be the exciting conclusion to this series between Vaughn and Jamaarkques.
Yes, sir.
Going into it, it's going to be the same 6 Mons facing down each other once again for the 3rd game in a row. Very interesting. You don't usually see this, but we see the same lead. We see Petulant facing down Quaquaval. Not a fantastic matchup for Quaquaval. Potentially going to be switched out into this Iron Treads. We saw Clear Amulet to block Parting Shot last game. Could potentially be the same going into this game 3. We'll just have to see.
I feel like regardless of what the answer is, going into Iron Treads is your best bet, because
Yeah.
you literally can't touch it except with Shadow Ball.
Yeah, and
foregoing another crit.
It's gonna be eating up Shadow Balls pretty easily, especially without that weakness policy procced. Even then, you're blocking its best move by far, which is that Malignant Chain. Shadow Ball comes out, going to be doing a nice 44. More than I expected, to be honest.
Just kidding, guys. Like, wow.
Yeah, this is looking like a pretty offensive Treads. Shadow Ball comes out, does another 54, and gets the Spidef drop to the Salazzle. Forced out into Mandibuzz. And finally the Storm looks like it calms down a little bit, but it also gets that Spidef drop. Knockoff, procs the weakness policy, and now it's +2. Takes out Mandibuzz in one shot. This thing is punching holes into Vaughn's team. This is not looking great.
Not a good look at all. I think you forgot about the weakness policy.
Yeah, we saw that interaction game 1, I believe, but just must have slipped his mind in the moment.
That is quite unfortunate. This Petulant has now become a massive threat.
This Petulant is going massive here.
Everything is chipped. Everything is chipped.
Yeah, depending on how fast it is, I mean, it looks fairly offensive, but you don't really want to be sending really anything into this thing.
No, not at all. Mandibuzz is faster, which surprised me, which means a speed investment in your Mandibuzz. But, my goodness.
Could potentially see that Terra Ground from the Florges to try and force it out. Kyurem comes out.
Kyurem can do the job.
Yeah, Earth Power from Kyurem could potentially take this out here, especially if it's on the frailer side. I mean, I feel like you have to just go for it.
Yeah, even if it gets Earthwormed, you have to click it.
Yeah, at the very least, you switch out this weakness policy, and then you don't have to worry about the +2 anymore, but man, it's just rough. Earth Power does connect, and it gets the clean kill, but very important Mon and Mandibuzz going down along with it.
The damage is already done.
A lot of damage on Treads and Salazzle. This Bullet Punch is not going to be doing a lot, but with all that damage added up before, it's already looking worse for wear. Salazzle does have a leftovers this game, though, so potentially that subset and going to be able to heal up a lot more as Protect comes out. And yeah, this is looking like a different set on the Salazzle.
Looks like that sub-Protect might really be coming out for real this time.
Flip Turn comes out on Quaquaval. Going to be able to shrug that off as we see this matchup. Going to be looking very scary for Quaquaval. Facing down a Woodhammer that you don't really love eating. Kyurem could potentially eat this, but it's not going to be pretty.
Nothing wants to eat that, really. Something has to die here, I fear. Whether that's going to be your Treads.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want damage. If you want to just throw away your Quaquaval that early. I mean, you could just send a Wave Crash in and it will do a pretty good chunk. But we'll just have to see what Vaughn elects to go for.
Perhaps he has the flip, but no.
Maybe. Kyurem comes out, Woodhammer. Going to be a nice 22. Well. Kyurem eats it better than expected. This is a very bulky Mon. So, good switch by Vaughn. Could potentially force a Terra here as he reads it in Earth Power. Does a nice little chunk. Ironhead exchanging blows, but weakness policy is proc. A weakness policy of his own, and now this Kyurem very scary. Wow.
Don't steal my homework. Make it look a little different, guys.
Earthworm comes out on the Earth Power, but I mean, it's gonna be able to eat this +2 Draco. Does get the kill in return. That is much needed damage on this Earthworm. Quaquaval gonna be very threatening here. This Terra is forced out. I mean, this is a pretty decent spot for Vaughn. That Zamazenta is still in the back looking very scary, though. As it comes out, gets the +1 boost. It's his first time as Swords Dance comes out in exchange.
Great bird looking nasty here again.
Zamazenta
Respectful
is going to be
shitty one.
faster, though. Psychic Fangs does 62. Wave Crash
Wave Crash.
exchanges blows and takes it out in one hit alongside Quaquaval.
Not nearly as favorable as the first game, because that was an opening lead. You had your whole roster ahead of you. Now you're down to a Chip Treads, Chip Salazzle, and Florges in the back.
No, it's not great, but I think Salazzle has a pretty decent matchup into the rest of these Mons. You know, once you can get that Torterra down, it's starting to look pretty dangerous, especially with how low Earthworm is. We saw it.
The only wall left.
Yeah, we saw it able to threaten out that Salazzle with Earthquake, but now it's just gonna die to a flamethrower of its own. So, gonna be a very interesting endgame. We could see another endgame where it's just Florges cleaning up. We do need some more damage on Scizor though, or that is the case.
He's shown up once for a
yeah.
punch.
On has not received any damage, so.
Iron Tread should be able to eat the bullet punch quite well, but I think close combat would kill it off.
Yeah.
Follow up. So
if you are able to get damage on it, that's probably a trade you're willing to make. Again, it opens up that Florges. We saw it kill Scizor from around 60, I believe, game 1. So if we're able to see another scenario like that, it could be another Florges endgame. Wish comes out, could potentially. I mean, this is scary because you can't really threaten Torterra in particular with anything.
No, he's getting this Wish flip off, I fear.
Yeah, if he does elect to go into that Torterra, I mean, he can go into anything, to be honest, because of this flip turn. Earthworm could potentially be back.
I would sooner think the Torterra is coming back just because it has a better matchup across the board. We know it has Headlong Rush to hit the two Salazzle and Iron Treads, and then it has both Wood Hammer and Iron Head for whatever.
Here comes Earthworm back to full HP. This Treads is not gonna be able to do anything in return, but it does get them things up. Salazzle is here, but we did see a Resist Berry. Critical hit, but it only does 50 as Earthworm takes it out in one kill, and now it's all up to Florges. We don't know what set it is, to be fair, but it's hard here.
So you're hard pressed to figure out what you're gonna do about this one.
Yeah, Terra Ground comes out as a trick goes out. Specs exchange for Assault Vest.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, wow.
Florges is gonna have to 1v9 the universe, which
it's a hard ask, but
extremely hard ask.
We saw it put in a lot of work game 1. And now it has the ability to switch up its moves, so it could potentially make the difference, but U-turn does so much damage.
No.
And now it's almost certainly in Bullet Punch range. Goes into Earthworm, doesn't allow it to heal up with that Giga Drain. And Body Press gonna be able to pick up the kill here as Psychic Noise is not enough. That is going to be game 3 and the series. Going over to Jamaarkques. Very well played to come back after that 0-1 deficit.
It was a hard fought for comeback from Jamaarkques. He had some good adaptations in the game 2 and great play in game 3. That Patrick run has put in some serious work for a Mon that's known as being one-dimensional. It's done a lot.
Yeah, that very, very good use of Petron. Very crucial Mon in this series. Taking out Mandibuzz very early. Definitely made a very big difference this game.
Absolutely. Chipped 3 Mons, killed 1. Beautiful usage.
With this win, it does lock Jamaarkques into that 3-0 top seed spot.
Congratulations
so
to him.
He's going to be the top seed going into the final bracket. And that means that Vaughn is not locked into that bracket. He still has to win his final series if he wants to move on to the next stage. So, that is going to be all for us over here at King's Court. You have any closing words?
This next series between Moth Gang and TTT, it's going to tell a whole new story. We might get a triple tiebreaker here. The triple tiebreaker Typhlosion, you might say.
Yeah, gonna be very interesting. So,
shout out Deborah.
Shout out Deborah. We're gonna have to see you later. That's gonna be all for us at King's Court. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yada yada yada. Thank you for watching.